There's others, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start our meeting. We'll do that by reciting the pledge of allegiance to the flag and welcome to members. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And welcome. Do I have a motion on the agenda, please?
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Support. The agenda is moved and supported. Those in favor signify by acceptance of the agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have one set of minutes to consider today, which begins on page 1, and for those of you that might be following along, the minutes of March the 6th, 2015. Do I have a motion?
I move acceptance of the minutes of the board meeting March 6th, 2018 as presented.
Support. Thank you. Those in favor of, well, I should ask, are there corrections, additions, deletions? Okay.
Yes.
I have.
We're not considering, at this point in time, comments from the public.
Okay.
Thank you. We motion and support. Those in favor of acceptance of the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Citizens start that over again. Citizens participation. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue or questions and answers. Each person will be allocated 3 minutes to address the board. Roy, do you have a look?
Yeah, we have people signed in. First one to receive is Leslie Lappa.
Ms. Lapa?
Yes. Perfect.
Please. Good afternoon.
How's everyone today?
Sun is shining, birds are singing.
You're right. Okay, so I wanted to share some information with you, and I won't make it very long. This is, wonder why urban trees are disappearing with thousands targeted in Sheffield. The planned lethal 5G does not pass well in trees because of its frequency. So, they are cutting down 36,000 trees, and this is in E1.
And this is fairly recent too, because I've been reading about this last week, I think.
Well, they're accelerating this tree cut.
Okay.
Okay. New 5G technology threatens canopy roads. Big article on that. So I know I can't ask a question, but I'm really wondering if this is all about a safety issue. All these trees being cut. I drove down Textile Road last week, and it was like a demolition derby. They had just taken all the trees on the side and cut them all down. I'm thinking, what's going on here? It's got to be something. There's a red flag here with me about the 5G. This is what's really happening. That's all I have to say because there aren't any questions that we can ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Roy?
Next one signed is Sue Shink.
Could you spell it, Roy?
S-H-I-N-K.
You Shink? More or less, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Shink.
Thank you. Hi, so I'm Sue Shink, and I am here today to talk about the trees being cut down. I'm a member of the board of the Northfield Township Historical Society. I'm a former Northfield Township trustee. I chair a county committee, and I'm also a candidate for county commissioner in District 2. I'm really disappointed about the trees being cut down. I'm not disappointed about the small trees being cut down. I'm disappointed about the heritage trees being cut down, the ones that I've read have maybe up to 300 years old. That's older than our country. It's 100 years older than our state. Ina Gerdnick, who's a local historian, has called the trees a historic resource. And I will say this, the public process surrounding this cutting of the trees is more disappointing even than the cutting of the trees. There's a public outcry because people are recognizing that something is being done to them in the name of something being done for them. And that's not what our local government should be about. I was talking to somebody about this, and he suggested, so I'm saying it's not my idea, holding a blue ribbon commission, a committee to take people's comments, well publicized, better publicized than what's happened so far, take people's comments, have a conversation about the situation. These trees are really a big deal, they're important, they mean a lot to us. And I chair LPAC, and there was an issue with public access and interpretation of the millage language, or the ordinance language, and how that applied to public access. And what we did was, the Board of Commissioners did this, we went around the county and listened to people in a non-confrontational way. And the thing was sorted out. It was sorted out without there being a big kerfuffle, because people felt like they were listened to, they felt like they were cared about, they felt like they had some input. That's not happening here. It may be about safety in your minds, but when we drive around the roads, there's so much wrong with the roads, and there are logs coming from the right-of-way into the road in places. I mean, that's just what some of the things I saw on here. There was a little sapling that had been in Maple Road for at least a week. It had fallen off one of the little cliffs that you guys had made some years ago. And I'm not complaining about the workers, and I'm not complaining about all the things that might be done and aren't done. I'm complaining about the fact that the thing that the Road Commission has chosen to put its energy into is cutting something that people love. And I understand that if a car hits them, it's gonna be a problem in that area. But there's so many obstacles along the roads, and there's so many problems with the roads that I hope that you'll listen, that we love the trees, and we are stakeholders, we are taxpayers, and we love the trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Roy, who do we have?
Next one is Catherine Stark.
Hi, I was here before, and I will give you a copy of my comments. I'm here to talk about the trees as well. I wrote down my comments so that I would be clear here. No one would deny that the road safety is of the utmost importance. However, upon examination of the Road Commission's proposed 10-foot clear zone, the facts and the engineering do not add up. A 10-foot clear zone is ineffective for these stretches of 55-mile-an-hour rural road. The 10-foot clear zone does nothing but transfer the hazard, resulting in no safety gain. To say nothing of the negative and aesthetic impact which goes against Webster Township's master plan. As you know, local residents became aware of the plan to remove heritage trees, these trees that are 150 to 300 years old, and created petitions with over 1,400 signatures and counting. Citizens have repeatedly requested the Road Commission work together to accomplish their goals without destroying the heritage trees. And I'm here again requesting the same. And I would echo Sue Shank's comments as well. There are plenty of safety options recommended by the American Association of State Highway and Transportation that are applicable in these cases. Today, as of today, the Road Commission continues to decimate the trees without regard to alternatives and public outcry. I am told that the Road Commission plans more grants of this type. Please stop this unnecessary heritage tree slaughter and let's work together on a better solution. On a personal note, I want you to be aware that people such as me that are on the Dexter Save Trees groups have been repeatedly stalked. A member of our group was confronted on the street by employees of your organization. And she was told that the road commission, and I quote, "can do whatever it wants. You need to stop. You don't know what you're messing with." If this is indicative of the culture of this organization, shame on all of you. Those are my comments. Let me give you my comments in writing. I left off the part about the confrontation.
Thank you.
Yes. Did I get everybody?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I have a list for you. Since I didn't get to
Next person signed in is Mr. David Gordon, 5558 Helmer Road, Ann Arbor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me start by saying I'm a supporter of the road commission. I've been a supporter of the road commission for 30 years, 40 years almost that I've lived here on a dirt road. I know Mr. Townsend, Mr. Harmon, from when I served on the board of trustees in Northfield, and on the planning commission, and I know some of you. I defend the road commission to my friends who are always complaining about potholes and the dirt roads. I think you've got a very difficult job. You grade a road, and a short while later it's bad again. It's a thankless job, and I appreciate the work that you do.
Thanks.
I understand that as an institution, the road commission is not a big fan of trees, and I understand that. I'm looking at your website, I see the trees, they buckle roads, they make ditching very difficult, they make the maintenance harder in both the summer and the winter. I understand that. But I don't understand the balance and the decisions that were made here. It seems like the decision to cut down these trees was pushed by federal funding that was available. And I read the, it's MR 21 or whatever the documentation is, MAP 21, which talks about an increase in the fatality rate in 2 years being what triggers it, enables you to get the money. But just because you can get the money doesn't mean that it makes sense to get the money. And when you start allocating funds for this, I think it's unwise. I've asked in emails to the three of you to provide the actual scientific data that shows that removing these 440 trees is actually going to make the traveler safer. Now granted, it's common sense that if you hit a tree and that tree's no longer there, you won't hit it. But by spending almost $300,000 to remove these trees, I don't know that you have any science in place that shows, well, this road is going to be X amount safer. It's going to be, we'll have fewer fatalities as a result. If you don't have that data already, then what you're doing now is essentially an experiment. And you're not going to have a data set that's large enough to even make a decision because you take away 440 trees and let's say there's no fatalities. Then you can assume, okay, well then we did a good thing in the last 2 years. We should take down more trees if that was the result, because we're doing great. Or if there's twice as many fatalities, you got to say, well, we didn't take down enough trees, we got to take down more trees because you're not going to have enough information to make the decision. And I'm disappointed that I haven't been able to even get a response from the three of you in terms of my email as to what science you used to make this decision. It's asset allocation. What else could you have done with this $300,000? Did it have to be trees? Could there have been other things like the little rumble strips that they have on the side of the road, so when you go out a road, you'll be aware of it right away if you're texting or whatever people seem to be doing now to get into accidents. I've been driving for 50 years. I only ran off the road once in my entire life, and that was because I shouldn't have been driving. There's still a lot of trees to hit. I would encourage you to stop this project and certainly don't proceed with another one. It's unpopular, it's unnecessary, and I think it's a bad use of taxpayer dollars.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Next one signed in is Sheila Bohowski, 2522 North Territorial Road, Ann Arbor.
Are we getting your last name anywhere around correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I live on North Territorial Road in Webster Township, and I've been informed that the Road Commission has applied for a second federal grant to cut more trees, this time on North Territorial through Webster Township, my front yard. With all this public outcry, I thought maybe the Road Commission would find another way to get federal grants besides cutting trees. I thought maybe the Road Commission would work with the citizens since there's so much public outcry. We have over 1,600 signatures as of today. And I brought this petition, the two petitions to you at the last meeting. According to your minutes from the last meeting, you didn't even mention that I gave you a petition. You just said, Ms. Polkowski stated that petitions are being signed. I would like that corrected if possible. So now I'm coming to this weekend. I was on Main Street, St. Patty's Day, downtown Ann Arbor. I encountered two women dressed in St. Patty's Day attire. One was very nice, the other was very angry. And I heard them say, there's the girl trying to save the trees. So I approached them. I thought they were supporters, they knew who I was, but I was wrong. One was very angry, and her body language was very irate. I said, do I know you? Who are you? Why are you so angry? What's wrong? They informed me that they knew who I was. They knew all about me. They told me they had stalked my Facebook page. They told me I better stop what I'm doing. They told me I can't stop the Road Commission. I don't know who I'm messing with. They told me I can't stop the Road Commission from cutting trees.
Wow.
Was this a friendly warning? Was this a threat? I don't even know who these women are. I've never seen them before. But I found out who they are on Facebook, and they work for the Road Commission.
Wow.
Now, isn't it my First Amendment right to speak freely about how I feel about the tree cutting? I mean, the Road Commission is a government entity that works for the people. Doesn't the Road Commission care about the citizens? Is the Road Commission bullying me?
Yes.
Yes.
This is a little ridiculous, and I just want to stop the tree cutting. I just want to save the trees from being cut down in front of my house. I shouldn't be harassed over it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Block.
Sorry that happened to you.
Next person signed in is Barbara Kowalski. 8192 Wood Trail, Des Moines.
Same as Billy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You all know me. I have worked with you before. I'm the lady that tried to get Jennings Road fixed. You guys worked with us. You knew there was an outcry about the old trees. You worked around it, you saved them. I can't understand now, all of a sudden, because there's federal money involved, there's no communication. I was here at the last meeting, nothing was mentioned about the new grant that you applied for Webster Township. I would like for you people to work with us. Can't we come up with some kind of an agreement? There is a township outside of Lansing. The people were in an uproar about the old trees. They saved one of them. If it means saving one 300-year-old tree, let's do it. If they can do it, you can do it. So please work with us, communicate with us. Let's try to come up with some kind of an agreement. If we could just save some of them. Some of them is better than taking them all down. Thank you.
Welcome.
At this point, that's only people that have signed in. So.
Are there other people who would like to address us on any topic? If so, please come forward. I need your name and your address. please.
Okay. Sorry, it's gonna be hard for me to talk, because what you guys have done is just such a travesty.
Can you pull that microphone a little bit towards you?
No, it doesn't move. It's such a travesty of the values of our county, and what I'm hearing on top of it, that people would be bullied, it's just shocking. So my voice is shaking, I'm gonna cry. This is ridiculous. My name is Jennifer Delisle, 7441 Spencer Road. It's a South Lyon mailing, but it's Northfield Township, just off North Territorial. This is a picture, Delisle, D-E, capital L-I-S-L-E. It's a picture of one of these heritage oaks. I took it last week in the morning. In the afternoon, when I went to go pick up my son after school, it had been totally de-limbed, and the next day it was down. I did not measure it with a measuring tape, but I did go look at the stump. I'd say it was a good 5 feet across. These trees were here long before the white settlers came. And the reason it's oak trees is because Northfield Township, and I can say this because I'm both a member of the Northfield Township Parks and Recreation Commission and president of Northfield Township Historical Society. I've looked into the history of the township. The reason these trees are there, and the reason they're oak trees, is because it was an oak savanna. It was maintained by the Native Americans by annual burning. Oak trees don't burn. The rest did. It was oak trees and beautiful flowers. Not so much grass, it's like maybe 25% grass, but and flowers. It was a beautiful place. That's why those trees were there before settlers got there. And those trees have been there all this time. And I'm wondering if you considered that. And by the way, this tree was well over 10 feet off the road. I'm not sure where you're counting, but it was over 10 feet away. And it was not at a curb or anything else. So obviously these trees have historical significance. They can't be replaced. I mean, if you would go and plant, I don't know how many saplings it would take to replace one tree. If a builder came and cut that tree down on a site, they would be required to replace it, right? With saplings equaling the diameter of that tree. That would be, I don't know how many saplings. I don't know if you took into consideration the values that this tree provided the roadway. It probably took up about 8,000 gallons of water off the road, which is now more likely to flood.
Yeah.
Did you consider that? Did you consider the value, then other natural values that this tree provided pollution-wise? The value to nature? So Doug Ptolemy is a professor who's really studied native trees and the values provided to the, because obviously birds need caterpillars to eat, to provide, to be able to produce young. They can't just do it on seed because it's not fatty enough. They need the caterpillars. Where do the caterpillars grow? On trees, because they have to eat leaves. Oak trees support over 500 different kinds of caterpillars, more than any other native tree. Non-native trees don't support any, basically. These trees were just of critical importance, and just shame on you for ever taking these trees down.
Yes.
This is not what our county values. You guys claim to be stewards of the environment.
Really?
It's on their website.
Oh, Lord.
The county values the environment. I took rainwater, rain garden class next door where they're promoting planting native trees and plants. This is a violation of our county's values. Please stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please listen to us. Please listen to us. Thank you.
Someone else like to comment? Please, come forward. We will need your name and address, please.
My name is Christina Laronis. I live at 151 East Textile Road. I live in Pittsfield Charter Township. The last time I was here was when you folks were reading the Declaration of Taking in order to vote to condemn our property on our farm in order to seize even more of our trees. Now you've gone too far. You're going county-wide with this. When it was just Textile Road, maybe it would have been an isolated enough area that you could have gotten away with it. But now you've alerted the entire county as to the way that you behave, the way that you treat not only nature in our county, but the residents as well. You know perfectly well that you worked with our township to turn this into a commercial truck route by township ordinance. It was not a commercial truck route by township ordinance. This is a road in a nature preserve. You see my t-shirt, it says Save the Pittsfield Preserve. I wear this all the time now. All of our other roads in Pittsfield Township are going to be under threat. You want to use the term on Textile Road that it's an urban primary. First of all, there is no such thing as an urban primary. It may have been designated as a primary road long, long ago, but you know perfectly well that it has functioned as a local road and as a natural beauty road in the Pittsfield Preserve. We saved the Pittsfield Preserve all around this road. And now you've destroyed it. I can't tell you how angry I am. The people that you've gone out after with your lawsuit and with your attempts to take property by telling people that if they don't give it to you, they will be sued. The people that you've gone after are not wealthy people. You've gone after the people who are ill. You've sued a 79-year-old widow who has suffered a stroke. You've sued my family, and we have a special needs young adult daughter who will be living with us all of her life. You've gone after those who cannot defend themselves. You've gone after people who do not have the funds to defend themselves. You've gone after people who need help, and you've abused them instead. We had a beautiful area that we lived in. My daughter now has to live on a farm where you have destroyed 21 of the trees that we were able to count, and those were the big ones. We didn't count all of them. You've gone ahead and condemned more of our property so you could take more of our trees. You have taken all of the trees along our farmland on Textile Road. We own 1,320 feet of farmland, and all of those trees are gone. You've left 4 trees, 3 in front of our house and 1 just to the side of our house. I don't even want to thank you for that because you should have left them all. The wind now blows across our farm. You can feel it already. You've destroyed the Pittsfield Preserve across the street because you've worked with our supervisor, Mandy Graywall, in order to install a 10-foot wide asphalt path in addition to what you've done to our road. You've destroyed all of the beauty of this road. You cannot fix this. You cannot make this right. I don't know what you intend to do. You have irreparably harmed us. You have destroyed beautiful historic trees all over this county. I apologize for taking too much of your time. You have ruined our farm in perpetuity. What are you going to do about it?
Goes. Are there other people who would like to address the commission? Please come forward. Do you have your name and address?
My name is Renee Quinn. I live on Fleming Road in Dexter. I chose to live in this area because of its beauty. I didn't expect to speak today, but as you can hear in my voice, you can hear a bit of shaking. After what I've heard, I've learned much more about this situation from these people that are here today. And I've decided that you are not human. All of you here are monsters. Look at my face. You're a monster. And to the 3 of you, shame on you. 3 words. Shame on you. How can you live with yourself? Listen to what you've done to the people in Pittsfield. You don't care. Your skin is so thick. Shame on you. How could you do this? You're monsters. I wasn't expecting to do this. I'm shaking. I came in here, I started off like, okay, let's talk to these people and maybe this could be reasonable. But after what I just heard, what's going on? How can you sleep at night? How can you sleep at night? I didn't expect it. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'm shaking. You're monsters. You are monsters, and this is not over. How can you, and then you have a lawsuit against these people? You are monsters. Shame on each and every one of you. This is not over.
That's right.
God, I wasn't expecting this. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn. Are there other people who'd like to address us? Please.
My name is Marcia Torrey, live at 4686 Fox Sedge Court, that's in Dexter. And
Torrey?
Torrey. I'm not going to repeat what everybody else has already said. I wholeheartedly agree with them. I just have one comment. Barbara, on the Township or the Commission's page, it says you are committed to further strengthening the Road Commission's relationships with the public. And if this is the way you're going to strengthen relationships with the public, you have a long way to go.
Here, here.
Thank you, Ms. Torrey. Are there anyone else who would like to speak to us? Good afternoon.
Michelle Dietrich. I'm not to be discussed. 5630 Meadow Lane, Superior Township, and I'm serve on the Board of Commissioners representing District 2, which includes Webster Township. And I'm here on behalf of my constituents. I've heard from hundreds of them. There wasn't a single one who supported the cutting of the trees. And they continue to contact me. You've heard from some of the folks who were able to come here today. I want to talk a little bit about process.
Yes.
And I want to acknowledge that I actually hold up the Road Commission until just recently as an example to other county departments of really good process about how the money is spent on the millage. It's incredibly transparent. You can look on the website, like there's maps showing exactly how the money is spent, and staff goes out and talks with all of the townships about exactly what's going to happen, and the townships give input. I serve on Community Mental Health Advisory Committee, and I've been saying, look at what the Road Commission does. We need to emulate this. It's wonderful. And so I want to acknowledge the things that the Road Commission does really right and that people are doing in public service to the community, which I do appreciate. But I feel the process really went wrong in this case, and that I'm hoping very much that you will all look at what went wrong, think about how things could be done better. I have a couple of suggestions just for you to consider coming from the emails I've been getting. People are saying that daytime meetings are really hard for people who work to come to get public input. I understand about the grant process, and that sometimes, well, I think I understand about the grant process, and that sometimes grants come and you don't have a lot of time to make a decision about them. But I think given the very passionate and input that we have, that we need to be having public hearings and input to the greatest extent possible. And I was under the impression there were no more grants in the pipeline of this sort. So I just think a statement on the website clarifying the situation, sorting out the facts, so that people know, because there's a lot of information going around, and I don't even know. I can't even answer those questions, and really the answers should come from all of you, not from me trying to figure it out. People move to the county for its natural beauty, and so this reaction is from people, I think, is from the heart. So I hope you'll listen to it and proceed to the greatest extent possible in responding to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other members of the public who would like to address us? Moving on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion, please?
I move adoption of the consent agenda as presented, items 1 through 12.
The consent agenda has been moved and supported. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Moving on to the next item, which is it's in two places in your booklets. For those of you that happen to be following along, page 21 is the first time it appears. 4, 3, 2, this is an action item that I'd like to have commissioners feel free to discuss or not as they choose to see fit. I would, however, like to have the motion on the floor so that we can talk about it. Someone like to read the proposed motion and we can alter it if we need to.
I move that upon the recommendation of the managing director, the board hereby directs staff to turn back the 2019 MDOT Highway Safety Improvement Program grant on North Territorial Road between Huron River Drive and Spencer Road in Webster and Northfield Townships.
Support. Been moved and supported. Commissioners, would you like to make any comments on the proposal?
I do not.
Okay.
Bear with me, I have a health issue, I can't speak for long periods of time as much as I'd like to. I think this is a grant that really speaks to the concerns of the citizens. The staff put a lot of effort into these grants, thinking that it's going to improve the safety of the motoring public. Just yesterday, the day before, a citizen in Arbor Township left the road and hit a large tree and died. That is where I come. When the staff recommended these, that's why I supported it, for safety reasons. Being a former police officer, I encountered, unfortunately, many instances where human life was lost. Most of the time I was in the detective bureau, it was through homicides and such. However, we did have to notify relatives of those involved in traffic crashes, and it's not a very pleasant thing. I appreciate trees as much as anyone. I have 10 acres of trees. Loggers came and asked to purchase my trees. I said, no, I like the ash tree. And what happens a few years later, but all my ash trees are dead now, falling over in my 10-acre woods. So now they're staying there, falling over. I'm sure the varmints and such are enjoying it, or whatever. But I don't think this board takes pleasure in doing anything to harm the citizens of each township. The only thing, and I think I speak for everyone, it was from a perspective of the AASHTO standards that most road commissions and state highway have adopted, call for a clearing of much larger than 10 feet. Was it 30 feet, Jim? 30 feet. But they took careful consideration and said, well, let's just do 10 feet. Now, is that going to save a life? I don't know. If I could read the future, I'd be in Vegas or someplace. However, at least we're making an effort trying to save lives. That's the whole reason. The whole reason that the state has not provided adequate funding for roads for 50 years. So I think the staff at the Road Commission, excuse me, places the best effort forward with the amount of funds they have. And again, this grant helped put in a culvert. Probably wouldn't have received the grant for the trees, for the culvert without the safety aspect of it from the federal government. They look at it as, if you're going to get this money for this culvert, you're going to provide a safer road. So that is why at least why I voted in support of that grant that already occurred. Now this grant, We've had long discussions, both pro and con. I think it's time that we take a step back and look at our procedures and policies for the future. And we may be applying for grants in the future under specific thoughts in a new policy, and we may not. But at this point, I think it's time we take a step back and re-examine our policy on cutting trees down. And again, I like trees as much as anyone, but I also like humans a little more than trees. And sorry I'm running out of here, but I appreciate everyone coming in. And I've gone through this. I was a township supervisor in Superior for 21 years till I got this medical thing. And we've had roads out there that was suggested to be improved and cutting the long trees, like Cherry Hill Road, for probably no one else has been around that long. But there was an effort that stopped it. It primarily was trees and changing the character of Cherry Hill Road, even though it's a heavily used road, mostly from those people to the east in Canton coming up and visiting us. But again, the board took a step back then, and we did not support paving Cherry Hill, primarily because of the trees. And again, I think the effort here was to provide a safe highway as much as possible for the driving public and motoring public. And I don't think there was any other, I've heard a lot of different things from people which this is just not true. But for my vote, I think the staff, they were looking at trying to drive the safest road possible. And unfortunately, sometimes, the more people that move out to a community, then they say, well, you don't want change. Well, the more people that move into a community necessitates change, adding gas, adding electric lines, adding other utilities. All of these additional population is a reason for change. So at this point, I would vote in favor of turning back the grant until we can look at this from a little broader perspective. Sorry for taking so long. Usually I can't talk that long.
Thank you, Bill. I would support everything that Commissioner McFarland has commented on. I would specifically to Commissioner Dietrich's comments. It is, I believe, an appropriate time to reevaluate our procedures and how we can appear to not be riding roughshod over people's concerns. Each individual grant has to be viewed in its own framework. Each individual project has to be viewed in its individual framework. So I too am going to vote to notify the Michigan Department of Transportation that this particular grant will not be taken up by us, which will hopefully allow them to reapply the funds to another project that is equally deserving, or perhaps even more so. So that concludes my remarks. Commissioner Ford, anything else? That having been said, I'd like to have a vote on the question. Should we accept the motion as presented? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Moving on to the road commissioners' reports.
On March 6th, I attended the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, on which I sit on behalf of this body. On the 12th, 2 annual meetings, one of Ypsilanti Township, one of Scioto Township. On the 13th of this month, attended the County Road Association's annual meeting in Lansing. And yesterday, 2 days ago, the 16th, attended the Salem Township annual meeting here at the Road Commission.
Is there anything from Parks that we need to be considering?
Not at the moment, not at the moment.
Bill?
I really have nothing to add.
Breathless.
Breathless.
Did I just say?
Take it like breathless.
Last week, I will make your observation. Last week, I was up in Lansing most of the week at the County Road Association's annual meetings. Roy and some others came up and presented on various topics. We received an award for Roy.
Our drive one, following with the other trucks, we computerized it and tracked all that information, so Jim superintendents were recognized for that efficiency.
There was a meeting of the board of the Michigan County Road Commission Self-Insurance Pool, which I attended, which was basically a business meeting internal about our processes and how they could be improved with both the County Road Association of Michigan and the CRASIF, in other words, the Road Commission Self-Insurance Fund, which was 2 hours of my life. I'll never get back. I'd like to think that we made some progress. The outreach program that I did manage to attend between internal commission meetings and committee meetings, I certainly thought were worthwhile. That ends that topic. Roy, you want to go on with the managing director?
Yeah, staff report, stuff to page 33, outlining some of the activities we've been involved in. Obviously, winter's sort of slowing down a little bit, but pothole season continues sort of strong. I don't know, Jim, want to highlight some of those activities?
Since the 1st of March, we've added another 300 tons of cold patch to our pothole patching effort at the top of the 700 tons for the months of January and February identified on the poster on the wall. So approaching 1,000 tons, that is record setting.
At a guess, we have at this point.
Remaining approximately 4,000 tons in stock, so we're fine. And we're processing our order at this time to when that's
352,000 tons.
We've used to date, how much salt?
26,300 tons.
And how many days do we spend doing that as opposed to other shores?
72 days this winter season.
I thought it was over 7 days.
Committed to winter.
Anything else, Jim? Yeah, this spring has been really strenuous as far as keeping the roads. You know, on one hand, you think we're making progress. It's extreme cold and warm and rain, and I think it's a sign of Michigan's infrastructure. I mean, we're last in the nation as money spent on infrastructure, and as a result, our roads. I mean, obviously, Metro Detroit. We were up there. Kurt Seidel was speaking. Section of 696 in Oakland and Macomb County. Piece of concrete pavement were coming up, hitting cars, going through windshields. They had to spend $4.5 million as a temporary measure just to hold 696 together.
Long enough to tear it apart.
Yeah, they're going to start a project later this month, but they, either they're going to shut down. They section I-75, they shut down this winter. So, end of the day, there is going to be more money, $175 million. We'll see about $2 million. It needs about $2 billion. So we'll continue to fall further and further behind other states and other, as far as taking care of our road infrastructure and bridges and culverts. So, Jill, anything on engineering?
Well, working on going on several projects. Tomorrow night, we do have a public meeting for the Harris Road project, which should be starting shortly. Tomorrow night's meeting is at 6:30 p.m. at the fire station on Fort Boulevard. Anyone cares to attend. We are in the process of trying to set up a construction meeting for the bridge preventative maintenance work as well as the replacement on Sharon Valley Road. And we're out to bid right now for the Baker Road roundabouts and our preventative maintenance work that will be countywide. And
And then in addition, design is ongoing for both Zeeb Road and the roundabout at Eames Moon, so a lot still to come.
Any questions, Mr. Sherrill?
I would like to make one additional comment back in Britain's communications on page 12. There's a handwritten note from a property owner, property user, the Abrams, who had a life interest in a house that was impacted by roundabout at Dan Coyne and Baker. And the Abrams wanted us to know that we have an extraordinary individual in the person that they were dealing with the concerns about the use of that particular piece of property.
Excuse me.
It's always good to
I am Mrs. Avery.
hear or see.
That's Mrs. Avery.
Oh,
Yes, I was invited to come to this meeting.
okay. Mrs. Avery, good afternoon. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
Well, I just wanted to tell you that I commend Mr. Brochu, how do you say his name?
Brochure, the file.
Oh, he was wonderful to us. He kept us informed of the process, all through the process. He made excuses when things would be done and that kind of thing. And he was always courteous, he always answered our questions. He was just really marvelous to us. And we wanted to commend him. And then I sent him a thank you note, and I sent him a gift card with that. He turned it down. He gave it back to us because he said he was just doing his job. And so I just want to commend him. I think he's a great guy, good employee for us.
Thank you. I certainly appreciate you coming in to tell us that. With that, we have reached the end of our agenda. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'd like to thank each and every one of you that came in to share your concerns and your thoughts. And with respect to you, your left-handed.
Next section, Mr. Torres.